Hi, everybody. It is Monday, December 7th, and yes, I'm Shelby Dwyer. My pronouns are she, her. I'm hesitating because I'm looking at my setup, and I'm going to have to fidget with the camera real quick. This is what happens when you live. You gotta adjust the monitor. Okay. So, as I was saying, my name is Shelby Dwyer. My pronouns are she, her. I'm one of the counselors at University Health and Counseling Services. Thank you for the thumbs up. I just saw that. So this is Yoga for Mental Wellness, a collaboration between UHCS and the Center for Spirituality, Dialogue, and Service, or CSDS. It is a yoga class geared toward promoting your mental health and wellness. So today we are going to be doing yin yoga, again, mostly per usual. And you will want to have potentially 2 blocks or a stack of books, as well as a bolster or a pillow. Hello, Paul. I saw you just posted in the chat. Hello. Hope you're well. So a pillow or chili here in Boston today. And yin yoga is done mostly to the ground, so it can get a little cold. So I definitely recommend having a sweatshirt or a blanket or socks nearby that you can grab as you might use them. Luca is now exiting the room, so unfortunately he's not joining us right now, but hopefully I've got my chair, really his chair, ready in case he decides to make an appearance. So anyways, today I really want to emphasize, do what you need to. This is the last week of classes for folks if you're joining us live at Northeastern. The last day of classes is Wednesday, reading day is Thursday. Quick plug, I'm going to be hosting Yoga for Mental Wellness with a final stretch, which is a pop-up on Thursday for reading day from 11 to 11:55 a.m. right here on the Northeastern Spiritual Life YouTube page. So hopefully you can join us for that. It'll definitely be a good, let's get rid of all the pre-finals jitters and everything and just get all the, oh my gosh, fall semester is over energy out. So quick plug for that. But again, really be kind to yourself today. This has been an intense semester. It's been a really intense year, and you're doing a great job. You're doing the best that you can. You've gotten this far, and you know you've got lots of supports on campus, virtually, in person. We're here for you. So be kind. Listen to your body. You're the expert of your body. Everything in this class is an offering. If you decide that you want to just lay on your mat today and listen, totally fine. If you can only pop in for a few minutes, that's fine. Remember, these are recorded and archived, so they're here for you to come back to at any point if you wanted to. And also know that I'm always open to feedback, and I want to hear from y'all and see what works, what doesn't work, what do you need more of, what do you need less of. So yeah, here for you. All that being said, let me take a sip of water. I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable seat. And if you've got a blanket handy, you don't need it. But if you're seated on the ground, I'll invite you to bring your blanket underneath your seat and just sit on the edge of one of the folded ends of the blanket. It just helps give your hips a little bit of a lift, tilts the pelvis a little bit forward, helps us also have a straighter spine, presses our legs more into the ground. So go ahead and find a comfortable cross-legged position. And let's just go ahead and settle into our bodies. I'm just taking a look at my Fitbit. I monitor time on there, so I don't know why I did air quotes for that. And maybe close your eyes for a moment if it feels good, or maybe just keep a soft gaze toward the ground. If you find that your energy, I don't know if you're picking up on mine, my energy is a bit scattered today, so I'm going to keep my gaze soft and staring at a non-moving point on the floor about maybe a few feet, 4 to 5 feet in front of me. If you feel like maybe you're a bit overstimulated with your environment, you could close your eyes. Your chin is parallel to the floor. Your shoulders are aligned over your hips. Your hips are really rooted into the ground. Make sure that you're not sort of leaning forward, but really keeping the back of your head in alignment with your spine. the back of your neck in alignment with the rest of the spine, rather. And just notice your body for a moment, any internal sensations that you may be experiencing. Focusing on the physical sensations. Maybe if there's tightness or pulling or something feels a bit uncomfortable. If you need to adjust anything, go ahead and do that. You don't have to necessarily be still for this. And now turn your attention to your emotional space right now, how you are feeling emotionally within your body, in your brain, in your heart, in your soul, in your gut. How are you doing? Can you check in with yourself honestly, without judgment, and just notice your emotions today? Recall how you started your day, how you were feeling when you woke up. Notice if your mood changed partway through your morning or partway through your afternoon. And now as we're practicing this live, the afternoon is starting to weave and sort of drift into the evening. So noticing again if maybe there was any emotional shift at this point. And that's totally appropriate and normal, right? Our emotions are not stagnant. They're going to change throughout the day, maybe based on interactions we have with people, or if something doesn't go the way we want it to, or we get an unexpected surprise, whether that's positive or negative. So again, just honoring however you're feeling, meeting yourself where you're at in this moment. Now briefly notice the quality of your thoughts, where your attention is landing in your mind. Are you focused? Are you easily distracted? Are you feeling scattered? Are you feeling centered? Are you thinking about all the things that you have to do before the semester ends? Are you thinking, when is she going to stop talking and when are we going to move? That's okay. Remember, long spine, crown of head reaching towards the ceiling. Your chin's parallel to the earth. Again, honor wherever it is that your brain is at, just as we've honored how our body is feeling today, what emotions we're experiencing. Now slowly begin to open your eyes if they were closed. You can look up at the screen. We're going to do a little bit of a breathwork exercise. So if you'd like, you can follow along with me. If you notice that either one of your legs has maybe fallen asleep, you can switch your legs if that would feel good to do so. I'm going to keep mine as they were. But at any point, you can adjust yourself as needed. So bring your hands to your heart, and you'll bring your pinky fingers and your thumbs together, and you'll fan out your middle three fingers. I don't know if you can see this. That's a little bit better. So this shape, this mudra, or this hand gesture that we're doing is called Lotus. And we're going to kind of play with it a little bit. When you bring all of your fingers together, keep that opening as if you were kind of holding like a pod or something. If your hands were the lotus, you had this little pod or seeds in between your hands. And then again, open up the fingers, fan out your fingers, keeping the pinky and thumbs to touch. So we close and kind of come into like as if there was something in the middle of your palms that you were holding onto, and then opening them. So bringing your hands in lotus position at your heart. Don't worry if you mess this up. Just like go with it. Do what feels natural. You'll close your palms for a moment. And actually, you know what? Rub your hands together. Rub, rub, rub. Get that warmth going. And just notice the building warmth, that building warming sensation. And then come back to lotus. Fingers touching, palms, a little bit of space in between the palms. Gently open, blossom your lotus. And just notice that vibration of energy on your palms. Inhale, reach your arms up. Expand your arms into a wide V above your head. Exhale, bring your hands back to lotus. And once you reach your heart, close your lotus. Inhale, lotus blossoms. Arms reach up in a big wide V. Exhale, arms come back. Hands return to lotus and close at your heart. Inhale again, lotus blossoms, arms reach. Exhale. Palms meet, hands touch, fingers touch. Go ahead and move at your own pace with your breath. Maybe sighing out the mouth. But slowing down the movement, moving really intentionally. Maybe you imagine that as you bring your hands toward your heart, you're gathering up all of this energy from the universe. Any kind of energy that you really need to get through this day, this week, this year, let's be real. Again, moving with your breath. Knowing that your pace will be different than mine. Especially because I'm talking. Couple more at your own pace. Last one, big full breath. Once you return your hands to your heart, place your left hand over your heart, right hand rests on top of your left. And just pause for a moment. And dedicate any of the energy that you just gathered with your hands and with your breath to yourself. And also just honor yourself for making the time to take care of you today to engage in this practice. Slowly release your hands. You can move your blanket off to the side. You might find that you need it, but we'll want to grab one of our blocks. And so you'll bring either, if you've got textbooks, you can do this with your textbooks as well. But we're going to start on our left side with our left leg extended. We're going to take half crane pose. We haven't done this before, if you've taken the class before. So what I like to do is first, got ahead of myself, but I like to set myself up so that my block will be underneath my right hip. And then I'm going to plant my my right leg, my right heel on the floor, so that if you could imagine I was in a squat, well, you can see it. I'm in a squat. I'm going to keep my right leg as it is, and then I'm going to extend my left leg long out to the side. I'm going to flex, hopefully you can see this, flex through my toes so that my toes are actually like reaching towards my face. And I'm actually kind of engaging through my left leg a little bit. This to me kind of amplifies the stretch that I experience across the back of my left leg. Again, not again, I haven't said this, but I've said it before in other classes. In yin yoga, we're targeting the connective tissues in the body rather than the muscle. So I will encourage you to sort of soften and release your left foot as you kind of feel more comfortable and stable in this pose. So once you're set up here, again, Left leg is extended long. Right leg is bent almost in like a half squat. Your heel is resting on the floor. You've got some support, maybe a stacked blanket or a block on the lowest height beneath your right hip. You could then potentially start to walk or hunch yourself forward. Maybe your forearms reach the earth. Maybe you bring another block or your bolster or pillows or a stack of books in front of you in between your legs. The more you round forward, the more intense of a stretch you might experience across the inner leg line, in particular the groin, maybe even some pressure in your hips. For me in particular, I have some pressure on the inside of my right hip rather. So find what works for you in this shape. You might even just walk your hands forward, keep straight arms and a long spine. Keeping that longer spine, you're still going to feel that stretch in between your legs, along your inner leg line, but you're not going to necessarily feel too much tension in your upper back and your neck because you're keeping your spine long and in line with itself. For my friends who might not have a block or a bolster to sit on, you could do this without that, just gently coming forward so that you're on your left toes and your seat, you can't really see this, but your seat is resting on your left. Sorry, I'm mirroring y'all. Clearly I don't do well when I do that. Your seat is resting on your right heel. And same thing, you keeping that left leg extended. You could round forward, keep that long spine, or sit upright, whatever works for you. Some of my super flexible yogis might be able to do this without any kind of support underneath their hips. Do what works for you, whatever is best for you. Whenever you find that position where you feel like you're experiencing maybe not too intense, but not too gentle of a sensation across the back of your left leg, the inner leg line on both legs, some pressure potentially in your right hip, then you want to hold in relative stillness. While we hold in this stillness, see if you can breathe into those spaces where you feel potentially a bit tight. Breathe into the muscles and allow them to gently soften. Trust that your bones will support you here. Right? Trust that the earth is supporting you, your props. If you find that you're experiencing a bit of pressure across the back of your right leg, maybe along the calf muscle of your right leg, start to sort of lean yourself over a little bit more towards your left leg. That might offset that pressure, or gently begin to lift your torso. That's going to put definitely less pressure on the right ankle, excuse me. Take some full deep breaths here. For some people, our hips can hold some emotions, right? I know that is kind of a random thing to throw out there, but if you find that you're starting to sort of feel agitated or something comes up for you, breathe deeply, sigh out the mouth. Sighing is a really great way to relieve tension in the body. I see there's a question in the chat, so I'm gonna come out of this shape, but stay as you are. James is asking, could we do a barefoot toe stretch for pain? Thanks for these lives. Yes, we can. We will definitely do a toe stretch. I love the request. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so breathe deeply here. Big breath in. Sigh it out the mouth. Once more, big breath in. And let it go. Slowly begin to lift your torso. And then using your hands or one hand, pull your bent right knee back in and just pause for a moment in a supported squat. If you were doing this without any kind of supports, maybe grab something to sit on for a moment. Bring your knees together, wrap your arms around your legs, and just kind of curl up into a little ball. So this would be like if we were on our back and we hugged our knees in toward our chest, but we're doing it seated. I'm rocking side to side. I didn't say that, but this actually feels good. It's like massaging out my sits bones and my bum a little bit. So highly recommend. You could also just stay still, give yourself a squeeze, give yourself a hug. Again, good opportunity for some gratitude. Thank you, body, for doing all that you do. All right. Now we've got the other side to do. So remember to set yourself up well. If you've got a blanket, you can fold it over a couple of times, a block or textbooks, whatever you're using. You're going to bring it now underneath your left hip. And you'll come into that squat, half squat rather, on your left side. So your left knee is bent, left heel, foot is planted on the floor. And you'll extend your right leg long out to the side. And now be gentle with yourself. This might not feel the same as your first side. The range of motion can be completely different. Our bodies are not symmetrical, they are asymmetrical. So notice what works for you. And again, find where you feel that 4 or 5 out of 10, where it's not too intense of a sensation, not too gentle. And again, we want to feel a stretch across the back of our right leg as we begin to maybe melt our heart forward or even just extend our arms long, keep a straight spine. We might feel some pressure on the inside of the left hip. There might also be some building sensation along the back of our left left shin. Whew. Sorry, y'all. It's the end of the semester. We are busy at UHCS. You are all busy trying to wrap up the semester. Oof. 2020, y'all. 2020. So again, find what works for you here. Maybe you melt your heart forward and round your spine. Maybe resting on a book or your block with your forearms. If you don't have any props, again, you can always come to rest your seat on your left heel. So coming up onto your left toes, extending your right leg out to the side. So you can kind of see. And then it's the same exact thing, but actually in this shape, when you're not using a support, you're getting that toe stretch. Hey, James, in case you want one, but we are going to do one. I'm going to put it in. So you remember from the first side that we are not here forever. Recall your ability to breathe into those spaces in your body that might feel some tension or sensation. Trust your bones and their ability to support you and hold you upright. Soften the muscles in your legs, in particular along the left leg. Right leg. And you know what, actually I retract. Yes, you can also soften both legs, right? If you're using a support, a block or a blanket underneath your hip, allow those muscles to soften, right? Again, you've set yourself up well so that the bones can support you. When we soften our muscles, we can allow these stretches to move into the fascia, into the joints, into the ligaments. Those are those connective tissues in the body that we're targeting within Yin Yoga. These are all parts of our body that support the muscles and support our everyday movements. Big, full breaths here. Remember, you can always sigh out the mouth if that would feel good. Release some of that tension with those sighs, whether it's emotional or physical tension. Got less than a minute here. Big full breath in. Sigh it out. Once more, big breath in. And exhale. Slowly use your arms to lift your torso. Gently bend your right knee, bring it back towards you. And this time, just gently remove your props from underneath your seat and come to lie down on your back. When you get there, you might extend your legs long up towards the ceiling. I'm feeling called to get a little bit of more of a stretch in the back of my legs because they are very tight. So I'm going to reach for my feet and just kind of extend my legs long, but flex my toes. You might reach for your shins, your ankles, whatever feels it's accessible, your knees. You could bend your knees, hug them in toward your chest, and gently rock from side to side to massage out your low back. If y'all attend this class or watch the videos, you know I love legs up the wall, so I'm just going to go back to that for a moment. It feels so good to me after sitting or standing. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm wearing fuzzy socks that have cats on them that are wearing glasses. Gotta be comfy and also entertaining, right? All right, as you feel ready, if you had your legs extended, bend your knees, lower them to the ground, and then just come to sit up for a moment. We're gonna set ourselves up for a variation of fish pose. So you'll want your bolster or your pillow, and you're gonna set it up somewhere near about the top quarter of your mat, or rather, I have no idea. Math is not gonna come easy to me right now. So watch this. You're gonna set yourself up so that basically the bottom of, grab a block too, or your books, because we're gonna need that for your head. The tops of your shoulders are going to align with the top of your bolster. So your bolster or pillow is perpendicular with the long edge of your mat. It's parallel with the short edge of your mat. And you're going to lay yourself over it, drape your upper body over it, and then bring your block somewhere on the tallest height underneath your head. Initially, we're going to start with the tallest height, so we will have opportunity to kind of change it. You might, as you're in this sort of baby back bend, you might keep your knees bent. You can rest your hands on your torso. You could also extend your legs long in front of you and just let them wing out side to side. I'm going to ask that you don't do any kind of butterfly variation. If any of you know what that is, hold on, because we'll come back to that. If you want to encourage more of an opening across the front of your body, across your chest, you can let your arms drape either overhead or out side to side. Be mindful if you've got anything around you in your space. But in this shape, with our torso and our heart kind of melting over our bolster or our pillow. We're experiencing potentially a stretch across the front of the body, and opening in particular across the ribs, the stomach. And depending on where we place our arms, maybe we feel an opening across the chest. I can feel an opening across my shoulders. If it feels like you want a little bit more of an opening across your throat and your neck, you could drop your block or books to the medium height. And again, extend your arms wherever it feels right to do so. But the lower you tip your head, you may experience more compression in the low back. This is a back bend. So we're arching and arcing the spine. And so where our low back is, right, our hips are pushing into the floor. Our torso and our spine is growing long out of our hips, but also there's compression as it curves backwards. So be mindful of that compression. If it feels like it's too intense, bend your knees. That's going to alleviate some of the pressure in your low spine. So here in this fish pose, we've got ample opportunity to really breathe deeply into our low belly, into our ribs and our lungs, to help massage out that stretch we feel across the front of our body. If at any point anything is cold or tingly or numbing, you can always adjust. We want to avoid those sensations. We don't want to feel any numbness or tingling or pain. Notice if you direct your breath to the low part of your belly, it almost massages out the compression in your low spine. Really deep inhales help kind of smooth out that area, allow for a little bit more space. If at any point the bolster underneath you or your pillow seems like it's a bit too high or too intense, you could always take your blanket and roll it up like a burrito and bring that underneath your shoulders, underneath your armpits. We won't be here for too much longer. Allow your jaw to be soft. Maybe close your eyes or keep a soft gaze. Notice where you're placing your attention. If you find yourself distracted, challenge yourself by coming back to the present moment. You can do that by engaging one of your five senses. So noticing the temperature of the room against your skin, sensation of your clothing against your skin, the textures, the weight of your hips right now against the floor, the heaviness of your legs, compression or stretch along your spine. Take a long, full breath here into the low belly. And gently exhale. Once more, big breath in. And exhale. Slowly lift your head. Begin to use the arms to prop yourself upright. Move your props off to the side for a moment, and then return to lie down on your back. And just allow your body to lay completely flush against your mat. Your limbs are heavy, arms extended alongside you, shoulders pulling away from your ears, but your body is soft and heavy against your mat. And you'll notice that we take these moments of neutrality or pause in between each side. It's known as the rebound or resonance pose. So it offers the body a chance to integrate the movement that it just did, and also offers the fascia and the connective tissues in the body to gently return to their habitual state. Check in with your breathing. Check in with the quality of your thoughts and your mind, and notice if anything has shifted from when we first did that check-in with ourselves at the start of this practice. Now, certainly you can stay here if you really just want to lie still on your mat. But if you're ready to move, you can gently bend your knees, plant your feet, roll over to one side, and you'll grab your bolster or pillow again. I'm going to take a sip of water for a moment. And now this time you're going to bring your pillow or your bolster parallel with the long edge of your mat, but perpendicular with the short edge of your mat. So it's almost like a T shape. And it doesn't necessarily matter where you put it. I like to have my bolster a bit closer to the top of my mat. And then you'll turn to face away from your bolster or your pillow. And you'll bring the soles of your feet together so that your knees wing out to the side. If you find that your knees need some support, if they're like really, your hips are really tight, your knees are lifted, you can always bring, excuse me, it's so dry in my apartment. Put the heat on. You can always bring your books or your blocks to the side of your thighs. If you're going to bring your blocks to the side of your thighs, you could kind of lean them on their side so that the flat edge, it rests against your knees. That might kind of slide them out. But either way, you can rest your knees onto something, blocks or books. I'm going to wing my, wow, y'all, words are just failing me today. I'm not going to use them. And then once you feel like you kind of have set your knees up well, your feet are planted, soles of your feet touching, make sure that your seat, the low part of your spine, your actual bum, is resting against the back edge of your bolster or pillow. And then just lay down over your bolster again. This time your head is supported by your bolster or pillow. And if you find that this is too much of a back bend, hopefully the spine is a bit warmer now. But if it's too much, you can always bring yourself up to your forearms, or maybe even just gently plant your hands, bend your elbows, and support yourself with your arms a little bit more. Again, you could melt your back over the bolster. And this is supine butterfly or lying butterfly, reclining butterfly, right? We're in that butterfly shape with our legs. And in this particular shape, we're opening up across, again, the front of the body, but also along the inner leg line of our thighs and our legs. You can play around with the position of your arms. So again, maybe they are winged out to the side like butterfly wings, palms face up. Maybe you rest your hands on your belly or your hips. Maybe you reach your arms long overhead, or even clasp opposite elbows above your head so that your arms frame your face. I like this in particular because it helps me get a stretch on my armpits and along my triceps. It adds a little bit more pressure and weight to the shoulders. We won't be here for too long. Notice if you move your feet further away from your hips, how that changes the stretch to be more along the outer leg lines. The closer you bring your heels toward your pelvis, the more intense of a stretch you may experience across your groin and inner thighs. So find what works for you, finding that 4 or 5 out of 10, not too intense, not too gentle. Breathing into your low belly. Letting your breath massage out your spine. And this is a heart opener, just as we were doing before, right, in fish pose. If you find that you start to feel a little vulnerable, you can always bring your hands to rest over your heart. Maybe one hand to your heart, one hand to the space just above your belly button. That helps provide a little bit of sense of security and support to your body. I know I give y'all lots of options for variations, and I really encourage you to listen to what your body needs. And if you decide that you take this class live and then you come back to the recording one day, you might find that your body actually needs something different. And it's so, so important to meet ourselves where we're at, meet our bodies where we're at. We can feel differently day to day based on what we've eaten, how much rest we've got, our stress levels. Right? These are sort of the inconsistencies, I guess, about being human. Big, deep breath in. And exhale. Again, big breath in. Let it go. Now, before moving your legs, listen carefully. Use your arms to prop your torso back upright. And then bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. Push your knees back together. And then gently move your bolster or pillow off to the side. We might not need it for the rest of class, but we'll see what we get to. And then just return for a moment, facing the screen, coming to sit in a cross-legged position for just a moment. Rest your hands on your knees. Palms face down, palms facing your knees rather. Long spine, shoulders over your hips. Ears aligned over your shoulders, chin parallel to the floor. Maybe your eyes are closed or you have a soft gaze. Breathe normally. And now gently bring the soles of your feet together again. Hold on to your ankles or your shins and just kind of flutter your thighs up and down, your knees up and down. Maybe side to side, opposite direction. Just kind of loosen up and lubricate your hip joints. Maybe do some circles with your torso. Just inviting a little bit of movement. I know my body was getting a little cold from lying down on my mat. If you go in one direction, go the opposite direction. Maybe let your head hang, kind of whip your hair around. Let yourself be a little loose and wild. Nobody's watching you, and if they are, they're paying more attention to themselves than you. All right. Now, if you've got a blanket nearby, you can grab it. Otherwise, you might fold down the short edge, one of your edges of your yoga mats. And turn to face that short edge of your mat. I'm going to use a blanket, so I'm going to unravel my yoga mat. You'll want a blanket in a rectangular shape. Kind of play around with the height. You're going to bring that underneath your knees and about halfway down your shins. And come to, I'll show you, I'll take my sock off. Come to the tops of your feet. Here's that toe stretch, James, coming at you right now. So bring your hands to your feet, kind of pull your pinkies and your toes out to the side. Make sure that all 5 toes on each foot are spread and pressing into the mat. And you might kind of have to play around with the support underneath your knees. The less support you have, the more intensive stretch this is going to be on your toes, the more that we're flexing those toes back. So you might find that you don't need a support at all underneath the shins or your knees. But rest your hips on your heels, long spine, shoulders aligned over hips, ears aligned over shoulders, chin parallel to the ground, hands rest on your thighs. If at any point this is too much pressure on your feet, you can gently bring yourself forward, maybe plant your hands on the ground, or even just hands on your thighs and gently lift your hips away from your heels a little bit. We will not be here for too long. Oh, yay! Okay, so love the toe stretch. It reminded me that I've been dying for a soul stretch massage because you do want to. Oh, yeah, let's totally just self-care day for these feetsies. All right. So I know that I'm a lot of energy today. It's okay. Yin doesn't have to be like super serious all the time. Yoga doesn't have to be super serious all the time. Notice how you're feeling. How are your feet doing? Are you feeling a little bit of a burn? Is it warming? Gently ease out of it. If it feels too intense, we will not be here for much longer. Less than 30 seconds. Long spine if you're still upright. Just think of how good that release is going to feel. Big deep breath in. Exhale, gently walk yourself forward. Release your toes. Tap your feet, the tops of your feet against your mat. Kind of feels good to sort of bang them out a little bit, just to release any of that tension that might be lingering from the stretch. And then gently, I'm going to put my sock back on. You'll gently grab one of your blocks or books, and you're going to place it underneath your seat. We're going to move into squat for a moment. So come to sit on your block and bring your knees out to the side, feet planted on the floor. Your knees will be wider than your shoulders, and you'll bring your hands potentially to heart center in sort of like a prayer position, elbows pressing into your legs, and maybe kind of wiggle your torso down a little bit so that you can really kind of nestle in and press your legs out with the effort of your arms. By doing that, it increases the stretch across the inner leg line, and in particular along inside our hip joints. But as you're doing it, maintain integrity with your spine. So long, straight spine. Heart is still reaching broad forward. Your shoulders are gently sloping forward a little bit, but still winging and broadening out to the side. If you find that you need a little bit more height, adjust the height of your book or your block underneath you. Alternatively, if you find that you don't necessarily need any kind of support underneath your seat, you can remove that. But again, we will not be here for too long. I'm going to pause and just come look. All right. Can you do it without the, oh no, it's totally not. Yes, sorry about that. I will remove fuzzy socks before we do any kind of other stretches. So in this squat pose, your feet are at an angle, right? They're kind of following the direction of your knees. Hips are heavy here. The muscles in your legs are relaxed, right? You've set your bones up well. Arms are using some effort to push your legs out to the side. Long spine. There's a bit more pressure maybe in the heels in this position. Maybe you gently kind of rock yourself forward so that you can allow for the weight to be distributed a little bit more evenly through the feet, although mostly it will be in your heels. If you find that your heels can't touch the floor, I should have said this sooner, you can always bring a blanket underneath your heels. So I'll show you over on this side. That offers a bit more support. And here you can see in this side view, right? My hips are heavy towards the ground. My spine is growing long out of my hips. My arms are pressing into my thighs. Take a big, long breath in here. And let it go. Once more, big, deep breath into those hips. And exhale. Plant your hands forward, lift yourself off of your props, move them off to the side, gently come to sit on your bum. And then, let's see, we're gonna improvise a little bit. I'm gonna throw my sequence out the window. Go ahead and stack your, let's see, we're gonna extend our left leg long forward. And then bring your right ankle above, just above your left knee, on top of your left thigh. And per request from someone whose username is Taken Butter, I think it was, go ahead and massage out your right foot. I know, so weird. I was thinking this would be a yoga class, but now we're massaging our feet. Dude, totally okay, right? Same, whole body needs love. We've just worked our feet quite a bit in the squat pose and the toe stretch. So go ahead and bring like your thumb to the, just below the ball of your right foot and gently just apply a little bit of pressure there. You can wrap the rest of your fingers around the top of your foot so that it gives a little bit of warmth. Kind of massage, I don't know if you can see this, but kind of move your thumb around. Maybe dig it in a little bit, not super deep. We don't want this to be painful. You might find there's this tender spot just above your heel, near the arch of your foot. Maybe gently massage with your thumb into that space. Now, I don't know acupressure, but there are definitely acupressure points along our feet. You could Google them. I think this is one of them. Definitely the one underneath the ball of your foot is something, but I can't remember what it is. Now bring your fingers, this is kind of weird, using your left hand, bring your fingers kind of between your toes, if you can. It's kind of awkward for me. I also have to tell y'all, I'm like so not a feet person. This is like so weird that I'm like, do this to your feet. But go ahead and bring your fingers and somewhat in between your toes and then relax your foot and use your left hand to just roll out your ankle with your toes spread. Relax the foot though. It's hard to really consciously do that. Roll out your ankle in one direction and then go the opposite direction. Foot is soft, toes are relaxed. If you've got like a tennis ball or gosh, I forget what those are called. They're on my desk, but there are these actual like balls that you can buy to like these rubber ones that you can buy to like massage out your fascia. Those are really fun. Like if you have a setup at home where you have like your space where you do your classwork and schoolwork and everything, have those balls on your desk and then just randomly like from time to time, put it on the floor, roll your feet out. It's really nice. So keeping your right leg as it is, gently just fold forward towards your left extended leg, maybe reaching your hands alongside either side of your left leg. Maybe you keep a long spine. Maybe you gently round forward. This is half shoelace. So again, just giving a little bit of love to the back of our left leg now. You might bring your left hand to the top of your right thigh and just apply a little bit of pressure, encourage it to move downward. That's going to increase the pressure you might feel on the inner right hip. Wherever you are, big breath in. And exhale. Big breath in. Exhale, gently walk your torso back upright. Extend your legs, your right leg rather, so that your legs are aligned. And then just kind of wiggle your feet back and forth. Kind of roll the legs side to side. Maybe you bend the knees. And kind of windshield wiper your legs side to side. And then whenever you feel complete, we'll gently return to shoelace, but this time with our right leg extended. And we'll bring our left ankle just above our right knee on top of our right thigh. And now, hello, left foot. Let's massage out that left foot, right? So again, bringing your thumb maybe to that spot underneath the ball of your foot in the center of your foot, wrapping your hands, rest of your fingers around the top of your foot. Just kind of massaging out that little sweet spot, tender spot. Maybe you use both hands, both thumbs to massage out underneath your foot, the top of your foot. Don't forget that little tender spot just above your heel, and gently press into it with your left thumb. Y'all, I don't know where the time went today. This class flew by. Once you feel like you've given your foot enough love, you can gently kind of wiggle your fingers in between your toes on your left foot. And then relax your left foot and just begin to roll your ankle out. Again, it's really, at least for me, it's like very difficult to consciously relax my left foot and let my right hand do the work of rolling out my ankle. Roll it out in one direction. And then make sure you go the opposite direction. Again, relax your foot, relax your ankle. And then whenever you feel ready, gently release your hand. And then slowly begin to fold forward over your right leg. Maybe you apply a little bit of pressure with your left hand on your left knee, or rather left thigh, just to sort of push that thigh down towards the earth a little bit to maybe potentially get more into the left hip. We should be, again, potentially feeling that 4 or 5 out of 10 and sensation across the back of our right leg. And you can keep a long straight spine, or you can round forward, whatever feels right for you. But again, we won't be here for too long. Relax the muscles in your legs, in your arms. Big deep breaths into your belly. Let your hips be heavy. Big deep breath in. And let it go. Again, big breath in. Exhale, slowly lift your torso. Extend your left leg to meet your right. And whatever you did before, maybe you windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Maybe you kind of, quickly lift and lower your legs, kind of shake out your legs, wiggle your legs side to side, wiggle your toes, whatever works. And then you might come to find a cross-legged position again. Maybe you bring your blanket underneath your seat just so you have a little bit of extra support. If you would prefer to take a traditional Shavasana, you can, maybe lying down on your mat, extending your legs long, your arms long alongside you. Alternatively, as I mentioned, you could find a comfortable seat. If you're lying on your back or seated cross-legged, we'll return our hands to that lotus shape. So this time again, pinkies and thumbs are touching. Palms are touching with the exception, or the outside of our palms are touching. And it's as if our fingers, our pointer, middle, and ring fingers are splayed out side to side. So it's almost like if we were holding a vessel or your hands were like a vase. Really, it's a blooming lotus. Whenever we inhale, we'll open our hands to bloom our lotus. Whenever we exhale, we'll gently bring our fingertips to touch, but keeping that space in between our palms. As you feel ready, big breath in. Lotus is bloomed at your heart space. Exhale, close your lotus. Inhale, lotus blooms. Exhale, closing the lotus petals. Inhaling, inviting in any energy and support and care you may need as you bloom your lotus. Exhaling, sealing all of that energy in. Inhale to bloom your lotus. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Do a few more rounds, 3 more at your own pace. Drawing in energy and anything that you need for support during this last week of classes. Your lotus blooming and pulsating as you breathe. At the end of your 3 rounds of breath, slowly lower your hands to your thighs. Pause for a moment, gently close your eyes or maintain a soft gaze. Maybe tuck your chin gently toward your heart, elongate through the crown of your head, long along the back of your neck. Pelvis rooted heavily against your mat. If you're lying down on your mat, you can stay still. Notice the difference between how you felt at the start of this class versus now. Notice if there's been any change to the quality of your thoughts, the activity in your mind, your breath, any sensation that may or may not still be present in your body. Bring your left hand to rest over your heart, fingers spread wide. Right hand rests atop your left. Thank yourself for engaging in this practice and for making the time to do so during such a busy time in your life. Thank your body for its ability to move in the way that it did during this practice and the way that it supports you each and every day. Send some good vibes and gratitude and care out to all those who participated in this practice with you, whether it was live or recorded. Take a big breath in. And sigh it out. Slowly lower your hands to your knees. Gently blink open your eyes. If you're on your back, curl over to one side. Slowly make your way up to a seated position. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see some folks have commented. Oh, Sager, hi. So glad that y'all made it today. Thank you for engaging in the chat. This was super fun. Best of luck wrapping up this semester. You got this. You're brilliant. You did it. You've come this far. You're going to do it. See you next week for one more of this semester, one more Yoga for Mental Wellness. Thursday, don't forget the 10th, we've got that pop-up Yoga for Mental Wellness, the final stretch, 11 to 11:55 a.m. here, live stream, YouTube. Oh, and there's a workshop I'm doing tomorrow. Go on the UHCS website. I'm doing a mindfulness workshop. It's drop-in. Feel free to come. It's from, 1:30 to 2:30. All right. Go get some rest. Bye.